My name's Robin Wikle. I'm a Pinellas County School Board member. This is my first term. I actually was elected in '08, so I do have to run again in 2012. It's been a privilege to be on the school board for the last 3.5 years, especially if you followed it. We've had some challenging times, not only with the economy, but with leadership. I actually am in District 4, so I represent North Pinellas County. My voting district is everything north of Sunset Point Road, so you don't even get to vote for me. So you do. Okay. And so my husband even said, he's like, well, why are you going to talk to them? I said, because they ask. And
well, we have members all over the county.
Well, and I think that it's always, that's his, why are you out on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock? That's not him being rude. You know, it's just like, okay. And I said, well, you know, they've asked me to come speak with them. So I'm very transparent. I'm very honest. I'm not real political. I don't get into that very much, but I do know that I'm about educating our children. I call a triple E effect. Every decision I make, I want to educate our children, equip our teachers, or empower our administrators to do the best they can do. I am a Republican. I am a conservative. I have 3 sons, and one is in the United States Air Force, one is at Florida State University, and one you all might have read about on the St. Pete Times. He has been, he's the one that has been addicted to prescription pills, and I'm very involved with the Narcotics Overdose Prevention and Education organization that has brought education to our students for prescription drug abuse in Pinellas County. Currently, my oldest son is he's out, he's living with us, and he's healing, and he's maintained a job, and we feel really hopeful. So we do. It's a daily celebration when you have an addict that lives in the family. But you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear some updates with the school system, or would you like to ask questions about the school system?
No, I'll ask.
Today
you just go ahead.
Okay, today was a rough school board meeting. If you've read the grade book, or you will read in the paper tomorrow, we had an agenda item for a grant. The Boy Scouts of America give us $54,000 for a American Life grant that brings character education to our schools. American Life grant might not be the correct terminology. I want to waver there. It's not coming to my mind. And one of the school board members, it's okay to mention school board members' names, Ms. Lerner pulled the grant, as she pulls it every year, to vote against it because she disagrees with the stance that the Boy Scouts of America has taken on gays and the, I need to say homosexuals in the school board, I'm sorry, in the Boy Scouts of America. She's never got her support. She did today. I was floored. She got a 4-2, a 4-3, and the grant was, we are not accepting the Boy Scout money. So it's kind of an emotional day for me. Yeah, it's going to be a big item in the newspaper tomorrow. I asked the board to reconsider that because it's about the grant was giving character education to 17 schools. It affected 7,000 students, some of our most critical, needy students. For me, it wasn't about, I didn't drill down and go, okay, we don't want to use this grant because Boy Scouts don't approve homosexuals, but for her, it's been her something that she believes strongly in, and she did get her support today. So I have to admit, I don't drill down that much, you know, to what is given. I do my homework on grants that are given, but I look at what the grant's about, and if it's about the kids. So that happened today. You guys will have the heads up when you read the paper tomorrow. Please act accordingly, whatever you feel you need to do. And because there would be a chance to reconsider if we could get someone to change their vote. I can't do that. It has to be someone on the prevailing side. We have recently fired our superintendent, and September 2nd we got an interim superintendent, Dr. John Stewart. We have asked him to stay for up to 18 months while we do a superintendent search, and the board does a framework of what their priorities are, what their goals are, what their expectations are for the next superintendent. Dr. Stewart has what happened is at the last board meeting, we had 7 people show up. We had a public, what's it called, public meeting where you can come and say what you wanted to have in your superintendent. And we had 7 people show up. And 3 of those are, does anybody watch the school board meetings? Smart people. Well, 3 of them are people that come every time and have some strong opinions, and you probably know who they are. So really, we had 4 people show up. Is that gonna get in trouble for that? Probably. Anyway, so, and it was art, music, but then some of the things they wrote down were, and I was typing integrity, accountability, commitment, knowing when you're wrong, you know, showing that you're wrong and taking accountability for that. And I went home that night because I'm a getter-doner. My weakness is I want to kind of do it tomorrow, and you have to get stakeholder input, you have to have a focus group. I mean, it's a very slow process. And so I was wanting to get this new superintendent going, and I was reading these things that everyone stated they wanted their new superintendent. And we currently have that in our interim superintendent. I feel like I stated in the paper, I got a little bit of feedback, I kind of feel like we won the lottery as far as having someone to step into place and waiting, and us developing what we as a board expect, instead of having that new superintendent come in and we're not a healthy district. So Dr. Stewart agreed to stay, and we're excited about that. I am not on the superintendent search subcommittee. There's a subcommittee that's going to come back on the 18th, October 18th, with the timeline of when we will, how we will hire a superintendent search. The process, they're going to recommend a process. Probably the bugaboo or the debate between the board will be whether we do it nationally or locally. I am supporting a national search. We're the 7th largest in the state. We're the 25th in the nation. I think we need to go out there and look at the big picture. It will cost more. I'm sure other board members will support a local search, which would be the Florida School Board Association. We could do both. And that's not to say it might not change my mind as I learn. I am one of 3 school board members that's never been a part. I was not on the board when Dr. Jansen was hired, so I've never been a part of a superintendent search, so it's a learning experience for me. I'm do my homework, I'm diligent, I stick behind my vote, and haven't had any regrets. Usually the night before I don't sleep, but the night after a vote, I'm very comfortable with my vote. I've been on 6-1 many a times, and I'm okay with that, because my identity is not as a school board member. My identity is in other things. There's my overview.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And there was a website question I was on there. Is that person in here that gave that said that we should put teachers in jail? Was that you?
Well, we're going to go to these questions.
Okay. I just wanted you to know I read
it. Okay. So the first question, do you support Race to the Top, and explain why?
Yes, I supported Race to the Top. It's part of it is the accountability system that we need to put in place, that I feel like we should have put it in place sooner, holding teachers accountable, a process and evaluation system that is partially linked to performance standards. So yes, I supported Race to the Top.
Okay. Do you support QRIS, the quality rating system, which I believe is a part of Race to the Top, which is intended to replace the current accreditation system for the volunteer pre-K program for 4-year-olds, which would then require a BA degree for child care providers? Now, I'll repeat that question, and especially for...
you know what? I'm going to be real honest. If I don't know the answer,
right,
I'll do my homework, and I will do a written answer back to your
Okay, well, it
group.
is a critical, I'll tell you, critical issue. I researched this yesterday.
Go ahead.
And let me repeat it. Okay, so as a part of the Race to the Top,
there's some pre-K.
There is currently their accreditation for the volunteer pre-K 4-year-old program does not require the child care providers, they have to be screened and background searched and so on and so forth, but good people could simply do that job. Whereas now there's a push in this to require a bachelor's degree for child care providers.
Well, child care providers and pre-K teachers now have different, a child care provider is someone that can be in the home and provide babysitting
Well, it's referred
services.
to as child care providers
Right.
in the legislation. That this would actually force even private sector child care providers to have a bachelor's.
All I can say.
Look into it.
But I do want to say, I'm a raise the bar. Anytime there's a chance to raise an expectation of our teachers, or what we expect of them in the classroom, of course linked to accountability. I believe in that. So I would have to know. I don't know if we should put if you have to have a bachelor's to have childcare in your home. I would question that, but no, I will look into it.
It could be an additional union member by doing this. Okay, number 3. What changes?
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
What changes in Florida's public education system would you like to see?
I told you I'm not ready to get that political stuff. What changes in
Got it? You got it, didn't you?
I just got it. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
What changes in
Florida's public education system would you like to see?
more local control?
Yes.
I feel if we, this is not, this is going to sound like I'm bashing previous boards, but I'm not. I feel like if the district, we would have done our job a little bit better, the state wouldn't have to come in and give us all these mandates and ideas. And whether you agree or disagree, if we would have held our own teachers accountable to an evaluation system that held them accountable, our principals, I'm the big one with principals. You might have read, I'm like, if we have a bad principal in North County, why do we put them in South County? If I owned a chain of restaurants, I wouldn't switch my manager from one chain of a restaurant because he's not good at this restaurant and then put him at another restaurant just to kind of see if he does better. So I am a supporter of raising the bar and keeping the control local. If we do our job, you won't have to do our job for us.